So, Julia, you really thought those girls liked you? They dished you at the moment of inconvenience. Don't you look stupid? And Stephanie, you are bossy. You are.
Welcome to the Asia Esterak Hour, where film meets conspiracy and pop culture gets a reality check. From sharp recaps to sci-fi theories and media deep dives, Asia Esterak serves it unfiltered. Let the binge begin.
All right. Welcome back to the Asia Esterak Hour. I'm Asia Esterak. Okay. Miami. The Real Housewives of Miami, season 7, episode 13. I'm so glad we are leaving Spain. I am tired of Seville, Marbella, all of them. Anyway, so we're still reeling from the aftermath of Adriana and Kiki. Let me fix my stand. Okay, sorry. Kiki's still pissed that Adriana referred to her as Ratchet. Wait till you hear how she spins this bullshit later in the episode. But anyway, so they're all getting ready to go on Stephanie's private jet that she won't stop talking about, to go up to visit Julia's two friends who are going to be the godfather to her kids over in I think it is Marbella. So Alexia and Marisol decide they're not going to go. They don't want to go because they feel like Stephanie is bossy, and she had made it very clear if there was any fighting on her private jet or anything of any type of inconvenience that she wasn't going to let the ladies fly back with her. This is a 40-something-year-old lady telling a bunch of other 40, almost 50-year-olds this. Fucking crazy. Anyway, so um Julia, because those are your homegirls, right? Those are your friends that dissed you. Okay. So she clearly was feeling some type of way that they weren't coming. And that was kind of the whole point of this trip, besides it being about Alexia. The whole thing was Julia and these dudes. So Stephanie is obviously feeling some type of way because they don't want to come on the jet, because she's like, well, am I bossy? You are. Stephanie, you're bossy. You have a very authoritative way of speaking to people. You like talk down to them. People don't like that. And have you met Alexia? She's just like you. So two of y'all, you cancel each other out. Um, so so they don't go. So these fools, so Marisol and Alexia, first of all, Marisol and Alexia, I said this in another review, they remind me of the two Muppets on the balcony, the two old white dudes. That's y'all. So they go and sit out on the roof of their hotel, and they're just like, oh, yes, we can enjoy Seville. Y'all are lame as fuck. You're not real. You guys are only loyal to each other, and we know that's limited because of anybody that watched the Ultimate Housewives girls trip when they were in Thailand. Nothing but disaster. I said that in another review. I suggest you watch it. You should watch that. Um. So anyway, the girls leave. They go to Marbella. Alexia and Marisol stay behind. The girls have a great time on the private jet. I'm gonna tell you right now, though, if Stephanie plugs her husband's fucking Shoma Air one more time, that shit was annoying. If she says Shoma Air one more time, blood is gonna squirt out my fucking eyes. Like, oh my god. Anyway, so they have fun on the private jet. They get to Marbella. They get to Julia's friend's house. The house was gorgeous, absolutely stunning, on the cliff overlooking the ocean. Beautiful house. Turns out Julia has known this man and his partner for years. They also know her daughters. Can we just talk about that for a minute? So her daughters are still not speaking to her because of adopting these two little boys. There's more to that story. There has to be. There has got to be more to that story. Something tells me Julia's a shitty mom. It's just the vibe that I get from her. And again, any opportunity to drag her goofy ass, I am. The irony that Adriana called Kiki Ratchet. Julia's Ratchet. Adriana, you're Ratchet. Or Wretched. Whatever. Anyway, so um also at this time, we find out that Lisa's divorce is finalized. So she is no longer married to Lenny. I wonder if she's going to drop the Hochstein last name. I think you should. It's a pretty prominent last name. But anyway, so that's cool. We also find out while they're visiting Julia's friends that Julia tells her friend, I really want you to talk to our daughters. You know, I would love for you to talk to them. And he's like, it's fine. I'll talk to them, even if they are mad. I want to know what the real tea is. And I really hope that Andy gets it out of her at the reunion, because that shit doesn't make sense. And explain why your wife Martina thinks that artificial insemination isn't like people shouldn't have kids because of that. I love that. A lesbian saying that shit when you just adopted to girl, shut up. Anyway, I'm not going to give them too much because I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. So so while they're all over enjoying Marbella and Julia and her friends, Marisol and Alexia are back at the house. We find out that Marisol is friends with Richard Branson, who doesn't age. I think he's drinking baby's blood. Anyway, so she's friends with Richard Branson. We find out that he wants to have her host like a wedding getaway to celebrate her and Steve getting married with the girls. And of course, there's tension around that because she feels like all they do is fight, and she doesn't want to bring that energy on her trip. I'm sure we're going to explore that more in the next episode, but whatever. So they have fun in Sevilla or Marbella. They come back, meet up with Alexia and Marisol, and there's still a little bit of tension. Actually, before that, I'm gonna jump back. So before we leave Marbella, Kiki and Adriana still haven't talked about this whole ratchet thing. So they have a conversation at Julia's friend's house. So Kiki tells her that she was offended. She's like, of all the words to use, you used ratchet, and I didn't appreciate that. Here's again, it's a racist microaggression. If you call a black person ratchet in a situation where said person is not being ratchet, it's a racist microaggression. I didn't make up the rules. That's just what it is. And the irony that Adriana says that she wasn't saying ratchet, she was saying wretched. Girl, bye. Shut the fuck up. You said ratchet. You know what you said. You didn't say wretched. So then they're like, well, maybe it's an accent thing. She does have a thick accent. And then in Lisa's confessional, she's like, ratchet, wretched. Well, they are similar. They are similar, but she didn't call her wretched. She said, you're acting ratchet right now, Kiki. Those were her words. You're acting ratchet right now. And the reality is, you wouldn't use the word wretched as a verb any fucking way. So come on. Anyway, so or an adjective. One of them. One of them. You wouldn't use them for either one. I knocked the whole camera stand over. Sorry. I don't even know where I left off. Anyway, they end up making up. But this whole spinning the wretched thing, girl, bye. I wasn't born yesterday or last night. Please stop with that. Anyway, so they leave. They go back to Seville. This is where they're gonna meet up with the flamenco dressmaker, get the flamenco dresses. The dresses were beautiful, by the way, fantastic. I'm a big fan of polka dots, so I was loving that. I really liked everyone's dress. I loved Gertie's dress, the best, gorgeous. So, they do a horse and carriage ride. This is for Stephanie's birthday. The irony of this scene, though, this is the irony of this scene. So Julia and Marisol have been planning this whole birthday surprise for Stephanie, but then you did all that bullshit and didn't want to go with her to Marbella or get on her private plane because she's bossy. Y'all are the most mixed up bag of nuts I have ever seen. Anyway, so in this scene, after they do the little horse and carriage ride, there's like a little flamenco dancer show. They watch that. Afterwards, that's when the shit gets popping. So Alexia and Stephanie start talking. And basically Stephanie, because you know how she is, she calls Alexia out and she's just like, so you act like you're my friend. We make up, but then you're continuing to talk about me. And just because you think I'm too bossy or have too many rules. And she's like, you guys fight a lot and I don't want that on my private plane. Again, if I hear the word private plane, blood is going to squirt out of my ears. So they're going back and forth. Let me say this. Alexia, Stephanie has clocked the shit out of you and your homegirl. She's not scared of you guys. And it's giving that she has more money. Because Alexia, we still don't know where your money comes from. Because Herman's passed and Todd is leaving. So where's your money coming from? And Stephanie, you might need to pipe down because a little birdie, i.e. the birdie in one of my comments, said that you used to be your husband's secretary while he was still married to his other wife. Ooh, ooh. So while that's happening, we regroup with the other ladies and the argument continues because Stephanie says that Alexia and Marisol didn't want Lisa on the plane. They start arguing about that. Then it turns out that it was actually Larsa the one that said it. You know what had me dying in this scene was Gertie and Kiki are off to the side watching this shit. That would have been me in real life. Like, I'm not going to be a part of the drama, but I am going to Kiki and enjoy this. So they're sitting there like this, watching them go back and forth. It was hilarious. Lisa and Larsa start going back and forth. And you know what, Lisa? Good for you for sticking up for yourself, because she was taking shots at Larsa, calling her, making fun of her plastic surgery, which is trash, by the way. You look like Professor Umbridge from Harry Potter. Stop it. So, the episode pretty much is right there. We do go back to their hotel rooms, and this is where Stephanie reveals, like, she thinks it's really Marisol that's the issue, that she floats. Marisol's fake. She's fake. She floats back and forth. She smiles in your face and then slates you behind your back. It's who she is. That's most of these women on these shows. Stephanie, you should know that. I think Stephanie feels some type of way because she didn't like being called bossy, but you are. Maybe if, okay, let's take out the word bossy. Let's say you are assertive to the point where it's a lot. You can be a lot. Anyway, this episode was whatever, but it was interesting to see the dynamic between the ladies. Here's one thing I want to point out. I love that Julia, when she found out her two homegirls that she loves so much weren't coming on her special trip, and she said she wasn't going to hold it against them. That's interesting, because Gertie's call dropped off to the announcement of your kids, and you still mad about it. Still. Right now. Still. Anyway, interesting episode. They need to wrap it up, or something new needs to happen. It's becoming repetitive and boring at this point. But anyway, it's Thursday, you guys. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Happy Thursday. Stay hydrated. Be nice to each other. And I'm going to go return these videotapes.